The lights on the comm panel were dead. All of them. Captain Dae-ho Kim tapped the screen again. Nothing happened. "Try the backup systems," he said. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed worry. Lieutenant Sumin, the ship's tech expert, shook her head. "I tried all of them, sir, 3 times. They're all dead." The bridge of the UES Dauntless was quiet. Too quiet. For 3 days, they had heard nothing from Earth, nothing from the other ships, nothing from the colonies. It was as if someone had cut all the strings that held humanity together across the stars. "It's the Taraxi," said Commander Han, the second in command. "They did this." He pointed at the large screen that showed their ship and the 5 other human ships near them. "They hit all of us at once. Every human system in the whole sector." Captain Kim walked to the main window. Outside, stars shone in the darkness of space. Somewhere out there, the Taraxi ships were hunting. The aliens had come without warning 3 days ago. Their first attack wasn't with weapons, it was with code. They broke into human communication systems and shut them all down. "How many of our ships are still out there?" asked Captain Kim. "We know of the 6 in our group," said Commander Han. "But there should be 23 others in this sector. Without comms, we can't find them or talk to them." "And Earth?" "No word, sir. Not from Earth, not from Mars, not from any colony." Captain Kim turned to face his crew. 10 faces looked back at him, waiting for him to tell them what to do. How to fix this. How to fight back against an enemy that had taken their voices. "We're blind, and we're mute," he said. "The Taraxi think they've won already. They think we can't fight if we can't talk to each other." The door to the bridge opened. A young woman rushed in, her black hair tied back, her uniform wrinkled, as if she had been working without rest. "Sir," she said, "I might have an idea." "Communications Specialist Park," said Captain Kim. "You should be resting." Jisoo Park shook her head. "I can't rest, sir. Not while our people are in danger." She held up a tablet. "I've been studying the Taraxi and how they broke our systems." "And?" asked Commander Han. "They're too good, sir. Their tech is better than ours. We can't fix the comms. Not in time to help anyone." Faces fell around the room. But Jisoo wasn't finished. "But I don't think we need to fix them," she said. Her eyes were bright with excitement. "I think we need to go back. Way back." "Back where?" asked the captain. "To the old ways, before digital communications, before even radio." Jisoo swiped on her tablet and showed them pictures. Old pictures from Earth's history. People with flags on ships. Smoke signals rising from hills. Animals carrying messages. "The Taraxi are a hive mind species," Jisoo explained. "They evolved with instant communication between their minds. They don't understand how we used to talk before our tech. They wouldn't think to block methods they see as primitive." Captain Kim studied the young specialist's face. "You're suggesting we use what exactly?" "Light signals, sound patterns, encoded pulses that look like normal space noise to them, but mean something to us." Jisoo stepped forward. "The Taraxi cut our digital voices, sir. But humans talked long before we had computers." Commander Han laughed. "You want us to use flags in space?" "Not exactly, sir," said Jisoo. "But the basic idea isn't wrong. We can adapt old methods for space. Methods the Taraxi would never look for because they seem too simple." Captain Kim was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. "How long would you need to make a working system?" he asked. Jisoo stood straight. "Give me 48 hours, sir, and I'll give our ships back their roar." "You have 24, said the captain, "because after that, we might all be dead." "This is crazy," said Commander Han. He, Captain Kim, and Jisoo stood in the small meeting room off the bridge. Jisoo had filled the screens with images from old Earth history books. Smoke signals, flag codes, light flashes. Commander Han shook his head. "We're fighting aliens with better tech than ours. And your answer is to go back to the Stone Age. Jesu pointed to one of the images. It showed a lighthouse on a rocky shore. That's not Stone Age, sir. That's smart thinking, she said. For thousands of years, humans used simple tools to talk over long distances. We didn't need computers. Captain Kim studied the images. Explain how this helps us now, Specialist Park. Jisoo nodded. The Taraxi think they've won because they broke our digital communications, but they don't understand human history. They've never had to find other ways to talk because their hive mind has always been there. She tapped on her tablet, and a new image appeared. It showed the Taraxi homeworld, a planet with 3 moons. The Taraxi never made smoke signals or drum codes or flag systems. They never needed to. They just think at each other. That's why they won't be looking for the methods I want to use. Captain Kim nodded slowly. So what exactly do you plan to do? I need to work with Engineer O. We can modify our emergency beacons to send out tight beam pulses. The pulses will look like normal space noise to Taraxi scanners, but we'll encode messages in them. What kind of messages? Asked Commander Han, still not convinced. Simple ones at first. Ship positions, enemy counts, basic battle plans. Jisoo's eyes were bright with hope. We'll use a code based on old Earth naval flag signals. Our ships will understand it, but the Taraxi won't even know to look for it. And what happens when they figure it out? Asked Commander Han. Then we change the code, said Jisoo. Humans are good at making new codes. The Taraxi aren't. They've never needed to hide their thoughts from each other. Captain Kim walked to the window. Outside, one of the other human ships moved slowly, just as blind and mute as they were. He thought about all the ships out there, all the colonies, Earth itself, all cut off from each other. Do it, he said finally. Work with Engineer O. You have 24 hours. Jisoo nodded and rushed out. Commander Han stepped closer to the captain. Sir, do you really think this will work? I don't know, admitted Captain Kim. But I do know that humans have faced tough odds before. We've always found ways to survive. In the engineering section, Jisoo found Sung-min hunched over a broken comm unit. He looked up when she entered. Any luck? She asked. He shook his head. The Taraxi virus is too good. It's eaten through every system. Then we don't fix the systems, said Jisoo. We make a new one. She showed him her plan. At first, Engineer O looked confused, then interested, then excited. It's so simple it might work, he said finally. The Taraxi would never expect something so human. They worked through the night. They took apart emergency beacons and put them back together in new ways. They wrote a code based on old flag signals, but made it work with light pulses. They tested it between rooms on the ship. By morning, they had a small box with blinking lights. Will it work? Asked Captain Kim when they showed him. In theory, said Engineer O. But we need to test it between ships. And we'll need the other ships to understand what we're doing, added Jisoo. Captain Kim looked at the small device. It wasn't much to look at, just a box with some lights. But it might be the only hope they had. Let's do it, he said. Let's teach the others how lions roar. Getting the message to the other ships was not easy. The Dauntless had to move close to each ship, almost touching, so that crew members could use hand signals through the windows. It took hours to explain the plan to all 5 ships. This feels like the old days, said Captain Kim as he watched crew members wave their arms to show the signal code to the ship next to them. Like when ships used flags to talk to each other across water. Jisoo nodded. That's why it will work, sir. We're going back to basics. By the end of the day, all 6 ships had the new devices. Engineer O had named them roar boxes. Each one could send a tight beam of light pulses that looked random but carried coded messages. Now for the real test, said Jisoo. We need to send a message to someone far away. Captain Kim thought for a moment. The mining outpost on Proxima IV. It's 3 days away at top speed, but the light pulses will reach them in hours. If they're still there, said Commander Han. His face was dark with worry. The Taraxi might have found them already. We have to try, said Captain Kim. What's the first message? Jisoo had thought about this. The first message needed to be simple but clear. She typed it into her tablet, and it showed on the screen. Humanity lives. Comms hackiti. New system active. Respond same way. Send it, ordered Captain Kim. Jisoo aimed the roar box at the distant star where Proxima IV orbited. She pressed the button. The box hummed and sent out its tight beam of light, carrying the message hidden in what looked like star noise. Now we wait, said Engineero. The wait was hard. The ship was quiet as everyone wondered if anyone would hear their call. Would the mining outpost understand? Would they be able to send a message back? Or was Proxima IV already lost to the Taraxi? What if no one answers? Asked Commander Han after a day had passed. Then we try someone else, said Jisoo. She had not slept. She kept checking the roar box, waiting for it to pick up a return signal. Another day passed. Captain Kim ordered patrols around their small fleet of 6 ships. The Taraxi could find them at any time. On the third day, as Jisoo was about to fall asleep at her post, the roar box lit up. Captain, she called out. We've got something. Captain Kim and Commander Han rushed to her station. The roar box was blinking as it received a signal. Can you decode it? Asked Captain Kim. Jisoo's fingers flew over the controls. The message appeared on her screen, one word at a time. Orcs. Anele IV, he airs you. We live. Teraxi. PASSEDVI. Did not find US. They're alive, whispered Jisoo. Tears filled her eyes, and they understood how to send a message back. Captain Kim put a hand on her shoulder. You did it, Specialist Park. You gave us back our voice. Even Commander Han smiled. I didn't think it would work, he admitted, but you proved me wrong. Jisoo wiped her eyes. This is just the start, sir. Now we need to connect with more outposts, more ships. We need to build a network. The Lion's Network, said Captain Kim, because we're roaring across space. Jisoo nodded, and the Taraxi won't hear us coming until it's too late. That night, the Dauntless sent more messages to Proxima IV. They learned that the mining outpost had seen Taraxi ships, but had hidden in a dense asteroid field. The aliens had searched for a while, then moved on. They think we're helpless without our comms, said Captain Kim. That's their mistake. And our advantage, added Jisoo. We need to use it before they realize what we're doing. The next morning, the 6 ships moved out. Their goal, to find more human ships and outposts, to spread the Lion's network, and to start fighting back. The Lions were ready to hunt. The Dauntless moved through space quietly. 2 weeks had passed since Jisoo created the first warbox. Now, every ship they met joined what the crews called the Lion's Network. 3 more ships found near Saturn's rings, reported Jisoo. That makes 11 ships and 4 outposts now connected. Captain Kim nodded. The map on the bridge showed all the human forces they had found. Small dots of light in the darkness. Not many yet, but growing. Any sign of Earth? He asked. Jisoo shook her head. Nothing yet, but we're getting closer to the Sol system. Maybe soon. The door to the bridge opened, and a tall man with sharp eyes walked in. Jun-Ho Lee was an expert in battle plans. Before the Taraxi attack, he had been on his way to Earth Command. Captain, said Jun-Ho with a small bow. I've been working with Specialist Park on improving the Lion's network. Show me, said Captain Kim. Jun-Ho brought up a new screen. On it were simple symbols and codes. The roar boxes work well for sending basic messages, he explained. But we need more in battle. We need to tell ships when to attack, when to run, when to hide. All without the Taraxi knowing. Battle signals, said Commander Han, looking interested for the first time in days. "Yes, sir," said Junho, "based on old Earth war drums and light signals. Simple enough to send quickly, but clear enough to guide our ships in a fight." Jaisu pointed to the screen. "And we can change the codes every day." The Taraxi would need to break a new code each time, even if they caught on to our method. Captain Kim studied the battle signals. They reminded him of the simple codes he had learned as a young cadet. "How soon can we teach these to all our ships?" he asked. "We've already started," said Jisoo. "The mining outpost on Proxima IV is helping. They're like a relay station, passing our signals to ships we can't reach directly." A young officer rushed onto the bridge. Her name was Yanji, and she worked with the ship's sensors. "Captain," she said, "we've picked up a distress signal. Old style, using light flashes. It's from the research station on Europa." Captain Kim turned to the main screen. "Show me." The screen lit up with a blinking light pattern. Jisoo quickly translated it. "They're under attack," she said. "3 Taraxi ships hit them an hour ago. They're hiding in the ice caves, but they can't hold out long." Captain Kim looked at his map. Europa was 2 days away at top speed. But they weren't alone anymore. "Contact the Braveheart and the Swift Wind," he said. "They're closer. Use the new battle signals. Tell them to help Europa, but stay hidden. No direct attacks yet." Jisoo nodded and went to work at her station. The roar box sent out its tight beam, carrying the battle plan to the other ships. "Will they understand the new signals?" asked Commander Han. "They will," said Junho. "We made them simple on purpose. 3 flashes means attack. 2 means retreat. 1 long pulse means hide and observe." Captain Kim watched as Jisoo sent the message. He thought about how strange it was, fighting a war with light signals and simple codes. But it was working. "The Taraxi still don't know what's happening," said Jisoo, looking up from her station. "Their ships near Proxima IV are sending confused messages to each other. We've been picking them up. They can't figure out how we're coordinating our movements." Captain Kim smiled. "Lions know how to hunt in packs without making noise. That's why we're going to win." "Message sent," said Jisoo. "Braveheart confirms they understand. They're moving to help Europa now." "Now we need to be ready for the next step," said Captain Kim. "Because once we save Europa, we're not going to hide anymore." "What's the next step?" asked Commander Han. Captain Kim's eyes were hard and determined. "We start hunting Taraxi ships. One by one." The 12 human ships moved like shadows through the darkness of space. 6 weeks had passed since the Taraxi attack, and Alliance network now connected 27 human ships and 9 outposts. "All ships report ready, Captain," said Jisoo. Her hands moved quickly over her controls as she sent and received light signals. Captain Kim nodded. "And the Taraxi supply depot?" "Right where we expected," said Commander Han. 3 guard ships, 1 large supply station. They don't know we're here." This would be the first big attack by the human fleet. Until now, they had only defended or made small hits on lone Taraxi ships. But Captain Kim had decided it was time to show their teeth. "Send the signal," he ordered. Jisoo sent the light code to all their ships. 3 quick pulses, then 2 long ones. Attack pattern Alpha. The human ships moved as one, coming out from behind moons and asteroids where they had been hiding. They formed a circle around the Taraxi supply depot. On the main screen, Captain Kim watched as the Taraxi ships noticed them. The alien vessels were sleek and purple, with strange glowing parts. They moved quickly, but with confusion. They had not expected to see humans here, and certainly not so many working together. "They're trying to call for help," said Yanji from her sensor station. In the weeks since joining the Dauntless, she had learned a lot about how Taraxi ships worked, but they seemed confused about how we found them. "Of course they are," said Captain Kim. "They think we're blind and deaf without our comms. They never expected us to adapt." The The human ships moved closer, firing their weapons in perfect time. The Taraxi ships tried to fight back, but they could not match the coordination of the human fleet. "One Taraxi ship down," reported Commander Han. There was a hint of pride in his voice. "Second ship trying to run," said Yunji. "Should we let it go?" Captain Kim thought for a moment. "No, we need to send a message. Take it down." The human ships adjusted their pattern. Jisoo sent new signals. The running Taraxi ship was soon surrounded and destroyed. "Last guard ship is surrendering," said Yunji with surprise. "They're powering down weapons." "The Taraxi don't surrender," said Commander Han with suspicion. "It's a trick." Yunji studied her sensors. Then her eyes widened. "Sir, the ship is sending out a strong signal on a new frequency." "What kind of signal?" asked Captain Kim. "I don't know, but it's powerful." "And," Yunji paused, "it's sending it directly toward their homeworld." Jisoo moved to Yunji's station. The two women looked at the signal pattern. "It's not just a call for help," said Jisoo after a moment. "Look at the pattern. It changes every few seconds." "What does that mean?" asked Captain Kim. "I think," Jisoo's voice was hushed, "I think they're sending information about us, about how we're communicating. They might be figuring out the Lion's network." The bridge went quiet. If the Taraxi learned how humans were talking to each other, they could find ways to stop it. "Should we destroy that ship now?" asked Commander Han. Captain Kim nodded. "Do it." The human ships fired all at once. The last Taraxi guard ship exploded in a flash of purple light. "Too late," said Yunji softly. "The signal got through." Captain Kim's face was grim. "Then we need to move fast. Take the supply depot, get what we need, and be gone before they send more ships." As the human fleet moved toward the supply depot, Jisoo went back to her station. She began sending new signals to all their ships. "What are you doing?" asked Captain Kim. "Changing our codes," said Jisoo. "All of them. If the Taraxi are learning how we talk, then we need to change our language." Captain Kim nodded. The battle was won, but the war was just beginning. And now, the Taraxi knew that the lions weren't as silent as they thought. News of the human attack on the supply depot spread fast among the Taraxi. Their leaders were angry and confused. How could humans fight so well without their communication systems? On the Taraxi command ship, Hive Commander Vexthar called his best warriors together. "These humans have found some way to talk to each other," said Vexthar. His skin was dark purple, and his eyes glowed with 6 different colors. "We must find out how and stop them." The Taraxi sent their best ships, a group they called the Hunter-Killers. These ships were faster and stronger than normal Taraxi vessels. They were led by Vexthar himself. Meanwhile, the human fleet had grown to 30 ships. They gathered near the ice rings of a gas giant, hiding from Taraxi scanners. "Vexthar's Hunter-Killers are searching for us," said Captain Kim during a meeting with his officers. "They have better weapons and faster ships." "But they still don't understand how we communicate," said Jisoo. She had dark circles under her eyes from working day and night on the Lion's network. "We keep changing our codes, and they keep falling behind." A new officer stepped forward. His name was Hyunwoo, and he worked with the ship's engines. "Captain, I've been studying the Taraxi ships," he said. "They're faster than us, but they have a weakness." Everyone looked at him with interest. "Their ships always stay connected to their main command," explained Hyunwoo. "They need constant orders. They can't think for themselves." "Like a hive," said Jisoo. "They all follow the queen." "Exactly," said Hyunwoo. "And I found a way to use their own signals against them. We can make short jumps through space by riding their signal waves." Captain Kim leaned forward. "How would that help us?" "It would let us appear and disappear faster than they can react," said Hyunwoo. "We could hit them and be gone before they know what happened." For the first time in weeks, Commander Han smiled. "Like lions jumping out from the grass." "Can you make it work?" Captain Kim asked Hyunwoo. I already have, said the young engineer. I tested it with the swift wind yesterday. We made 5 micro-jumps around a Taraxi patrol. They never saw us. Captain Kim stood up. Then we have a plan. We use their own signals as our roads. We hit them fast and disappear. There's more, said Yeonji from her place at the sensor station. I've found a way to jam their comms during battle. Just for a few minutes, but it's enough to confuse them. Without orders from their leaders, they freeze up, added Jisoo. They don't know what to do. Captain Kim looked at his team with pride. These young officers had found ways to fight that no one had thought of before. The Taraxi thought their technology made them stronger, but it was becoming their weakness. We need to hit them where it hurts, said Captain Kim. Vexthar's command ship. If we can take out their leader, the rest will fall apart. But sir, said Commander Han, Vexthar's ship is huge. It has shields and weapons we can't match. We don't need to match them, said Captain Kim. We just need to be smarter. They made their plan. 3 human ships, the Dauntless, the Swift Wind, and the Braveheart, would use Hyunwoo's micro-jump technique to get close to Vexthar's ship. Yeonji would jam their communications. Then they would strike at the ship's main power core. It's a good plan, said Commander Han, but very risky. Lions don't win by being safe, said Captain Kim. They win by being brave and smart. The next day, the 3 human ships left the safety of the ice rings. They moved toward the area where Vexthar's hunter-killers were searching. It was time to show the Taraxi that humans were not just prey. They were predators too. The 3 human ships moved through the star system like ghosts. Using Hyunwoo's micro-jump technique, they appeared and disappeared, following the waves of Taraxi signals. Vexthar's command ship is just ahead, said Yeonji, watching her sensor screen. It's huge. Captain Kim looked at the image on the main screen. The Taraxi command ship was 3 times the size of the Dauntless. It glowed with strange purple energy and was surrounded by 6 smaller ships. Are you ready? Captain Kim asked his crew. Ready, sir, said Jisoo. The new signal codes are set. Our ships know exactly what to do. Commander Han looked worried. If this fails, we lose our 3 best ships. If we do nothing, we lose everything, said Captain Kim. Send the signal. Jisoo sent the light code. 3 quick flashes, then a long pulse. Attack Plan Delta. The Swift Wind and the Braveheart moved into position. The Dauntless stayed back, hidden behind a small moon. Just then, a new person walked onto the bridge. It was Dr. Min-soo, the ship's expert on alien life. She had been studying the Taraxi for weeks. Captain, she said, I've discovered something important about the Taraxi. What is it, Doctor? Asked Captain Kim, his eyes still on the screen. The Taraxi have never known isolation, explained Dr. Min-soo. Their hive mind connects them from birth. When cut off, they panic. They can't think clearly. Captain Kim turned to her. How does that help us? If we can cut Vexthar off from his fleet, even for a short time, he won't be able to give good orders. Dr. Min-soo's eyes were bright with excitement. His ships will be confused. Captain Kim looked at Yeonji. Can your jamming system cut off Vexthar completely? Yeonji thought for a moment. Yes, but only for about 10 minutes before their systems adapt. 10 minutes is all we need, said Captain Kim. He turned to Jisoo. Change the plan. Tell our ships to target Vexthar's communication array first, then jam all frequencies. Jisoo sent the new orders. The Swift Wind and the Braveheart acknowledged with quick light flashes. They're moving in, said Commander Han. On the screen, they watched as the 2 human ships suddenly appeared near Vexthar's command ship. They fired their weapons at a specific spot on the giant ship. Direct hit on their main comm array, called out Yeonji. Jamming now. The effect was immediate. The 6 Taraxi guard ships began to move in strange patterns. Some stopped completely. Others spun in circles. It's working, said Dr. Minsu. They don't know what to do without Vexthar's orders. Captain Kim gave the final command. Tell our ships to hit the main power core. Now. Jisoo sent the signal. The Swift Wind and the Braveheart fired all their weapons at the same spot on Vexthar's ship. The giant Taraxi vessel shuddered. Purple energy sparked along its side. Then, with a silent flash, its main power core exploded. They did it, shouted Jisoo. The Taraxi command ship didn't explode completely. Instead, it went dark, drifting in space. The 6 guard ships still moved in confusion, unable to coordinate without their leader. Send the pickup signal, ordered Captain Kim. Get our ships out of there before they recover. The Swift Wind and the Braveheart used one final micro-jump to escape. They rejoined the Dauntless behind the moon. Vexthar's ship is crippled, reported Commander Han. And without him, their fleet is lost. Captain Kim nodded. For now. But the Taraxi will send more ships. Let them come, said Jisoo. We'll be ready. Dr. Min-soo stepped forward again. Captain, there's something else. If we could send false signals that sound like Taraxi commands, what would happen? Asked Captain Kim. They might attack each other, said Dr. Min-soo. The hive mind trusts what it hears from its leaders. Captain Kim smiled slowly. So we can make them fight themselves. Yes, said Dr. Min-soo, while we focus on the real goal. Which is? Asked Commander Han. Captain Kim's face grew serious. Finding Earth and breaking the silence. After a month of battles, the human fleet had grown to 50 ships. The Lion's network now stretched across the stars, connecting outposts and colonies that had been cut off from each other. We're getting close to Earth, said Jisoo, looking at the star map. Earth was just 2 days away. Any signal from home? Asked Captain Kim. Jisoo shook her head. Nothing. We've tried every code, every frequency. Earth is completely silent. The bridge was quiet. Everyone was thinking the same thing. What if Earth was gone? What if the Taraxi had destroyed it? We'll know soon, said Commander Han. His voice was softer than usual. In the months since the attack, he had changed. The Lion's network had shown him that old ways could still be useful. The human fleet moved carefully toward Earth's solar system. They used Hyunwoo's micro-jump technique to stay hidden from Taraxi sensors. Captain, called Yeonji from her station. I'm picking up something strange near Earth's moon. Show me, said Captain Kim. The main screen showed a huge structure orbiting the moon. It was Taraxi built, with the same purple glow as their ships. But this was much bigger than any ship they had seen. What is it? Asked Commander Han. Dr. Min-soo studied the image. It looks like a giant signal device, a jammer. Jisoo stood up. That's why Earth is silent. The Taraxi built a huge jammer to block all signals to and from Earth. Is Earth still there? Asked Captain Kim. Can you see it? Yeonji adjusted her sensors. Yes, sir. I can see cities, lights. Earth is there, but trapped in silence. Relief filled the bridge. Earth was alive. We need to destroy that jammer, said Captain Kim. But it's too big for our ships to take down with normal weapons. We could plant bombs on it, suggested Commander Han. A small team in a shuttlecraft. Captain Kim nodded slowly. A strike team. It would be very dangerous. I'll lead it, said Commander Han. I know the Taraxi systems better than anyone now. You'll need me to bypass their security, said Jisoo, and to send the signal to Earth once the jammer is down. Captain Kim didn't want to risk his best people, but he knew they were right. Very well, he said, but you'll take our fastest shuttle and our best stealth technology. They prepared for the mission. The shuttle was small and painted black to hide in space. It carried powerful bombs that could destroy the jammer. As Jisoo and Commander Han prepared to leave, Captain Kim spoke to them one last time. Remember, he said, the goal is to destroy the jammer and get out. Don't try to be heroes." "We won't," said Commander Han. "But if something goes wrong, make sure Earth hears about the Lions network." The shuttle left the Dauntless and moved silently toward the huge jammer. It took 6 hours to get close enough. The jammer was guarded by 10 Taraxi ships, but they weren't looking for something so small. "We're in their blind spot," whispered Jisoo, though no one could hear them in space. Commander Han guided the shuttle to a docking port on the side of the jammer. They put on their spacesuits and carried the bombs inside. "Plant them at the power core," said Commander Han. "Set them for 20 minutes. That gives us time to get clear." Jisoo nodded and set the bombs. But as they were finishing, alarms started to sound. "They've detected us," said Commander Han. They ran back toward their shuttle. But Taraxi soldiers were coming from that direction. "We're cut off," said Jisoo. Commander Han looked at the bombs, then at Jisoo. "I'll hold them off. You get to the emergency pods. One person can fit." "No," said Jisoo. "We go together." Commander Han shook his head. "Someone has to make sure these bombs go off. Someone has to make sure Earth can hear the Lions roar again." He pushed Jisoo toward the escape pods. "Tell them what we did here. Tell them how the Lions fought back."